Hey guys! So today I am finally doing this video. I wanted to do it for a long time. I feel like since it's almost getting to be October, I thought I should just do it. And yeah. So this video is my experience working in a Halloween store. I thought it would be interesting to talk about just because I know all of my fellow YouTube friends, we all love doing the Halloween hauls, but I have never heard of anyone else like actually working in a store. I hear footsteps downstairs. I don't know if that's the TV or if that's an intruder. That is scary. Anyways, I worked at Halloween Express last year. I worked there from like early September to October, obviously. As long as I can remember, I've always wanted to work in a Halloween store. Like, we would have to drive an hour and a half, and I would see the people, and they'd be, like, having so much fun. They'd be dressed up in, Halloween costumes, and I was like, how awesome would that be to have a job where you just get to wear a costume? Like, that's awesome. So, when we moved up for college, I was like, you know what? I'm going to find a Halloween store. I know there's got to be one in the cities. I'm going to find one, and I'm going to work there just to say that I worked at a Halloween store. So I saw there's a Spirit opening up about 20 minutes away from where my apartment was. So I had an interview with them. I went there, and actually the way that their Spirit worked was that you couldn't wear costumes. You had to wear all black, and then you wore like an apron, which I've seen at other Spirits. And I was like, okay, well, wearing a costume's not like a deal breaker, I just need a job. So the lady that I actually talked to on the phone wasn't the lady that interviewed me, but she pretty much said, like, I'm hired, I'm not gonna get like a lot of hours just because it's September and, Halloween stores are usually slower and then they get busier in October. So I was like, that's fine, just a few hours will be good, and then I can keep like working on the apartment and kind of exploring and getting to know where my school is at and the best routes to take and whatnot. So I was like, yeah, that's fine. So she said that the manager would call me within the next few days, and then I would, be able to set up when I could work that week. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I was a little nervous about driving 20 minutes away just because I've always lived in town. I've never had to get on an interstate and drive to a job or anything like that. My jobs have just been always down the street. And I was also kind of excited because the manager, she apparently went to the school that I was going to for college, so I was like, oh, maybe I will make a friend and college won't be as nerve-wracking and terrifying. So I was really excited about that. But anyway, so a few days go on and I never get a call back. But then I see that Halloween Express is opening right in my town, just down the street. So I was kind of torn, well, should I call Spirit back? I want to make friends in college. I want to work at Spirit. I want to do this and that. But then it's well, Halloween Express and Spirit, they're pretty much the same thing. They're both Halloween stores. I'm sure I'll meet awesome people at Halloween Express and, should probably save gas money and, don't want to drive. I went in, I got an application, and then I took the application back in. The manager was like, okay, I'll give you a call tomorrow. She didn't even look over my application, but that's kind of a given because, they're seasonal and they kind of need people to start right away and whatnot. So I had a phone interview and that was it. It was just okay, your first day is this time, just wear whatever clothes you want. We'll give you a shirt when you come in. Come in sometime before your first day to get a tax form. So I did that. And I will say, I did have a lot of fun working at Halloween Express. I had one of the coolest managers that I've ever had. It was fun. It was fun for me. It was boring a lot of the times because I started so early in September. I'd be working like 7 hours a day, and all I would do was like walk up and down the aisles and make sure like the costumes were all put in their right spots, and I would have to like pull them forward if they were pushed all the way back, and it just got kind of boring. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not like a super amazing job. It's still retail. Like, you still just go around and you ask people, like, oh, are you finding everything okay? This and that. You have to walk around, use the register. Yeah, I met a lot of cool people. I worked with, like, two 15-year-olds, and then my boyfriend ended up working there. And then most of the people were older than me. I was like I was 18 at the time, so I was the only like 18-year-old there. One of the really fun things was my boss's daughters were always at work with her, and I loved that because they were adorable and cute, and the oldest one loved me and always like walked around with me. And yeah, that doesn't really pertain to working in a Halloween store, but our store apparently was a more family-oriented store, so we didn't have any type of like props or animatronics. We didn't have any scary things because we wanted to be a more family store. And I remember this one time, me and I think his name was Tom. Tom and I were setting up. We did get creepy like little guys every once in a while. So we had this clown guy, and we were setting him up like right in front of the like main entrance when you first walked in, so you would see him. And the one manager like was freaking out and was like, "You can't put that there. That'll make the kids cry when they walk in, and if the kids are crying and causing a big fuss, then the parents are just gonna like get frustrated and not want to be in here, and then they'll just walk out and leave right away, and we don't want that." And I was like, we were both like, "This is a Halloween store. It's supposed to be scary. Like, this guy is not even that scary." So we like kind of fought with her, and she let us put him up, but then she would like ask me, she'd like, "Keep an eye on the kids. Are they scared? Like, have they been crying?" And I was like, "No, every single kid has like loved this dude." They would come up and like take pictures with him, the ones that had like cell phones, and then the smaller ones would like punch him, and they like loved him. So that was the only thing I didn't really like about working at my specific store, was that we only had costumes and masks, and we had a few props, but we didn't have like a lot. Even though we were in a pretty big sized store, we barely had like anything. We hardly had shoes. We would only have like a few pairs laying around. One of the other things that I didn't really like is the music they played at my specific store. They played like, it was like this 30 to 40 song like playlist, and it was all like country songs, the whole Skillet album, the whole U2 album, and then like a few random like 90s workout songs, and that would just like play on a loop. And like the music, I couldn't stand it. I could not take it, and none of the workers could take it. Like, I don't know why. And even when it got closer to like Halloween, they would not play like Halloween music. They wouldn't play like spooky songs. They would just play that music, and workers would be like, "How do you stand this?" And I was like, I really can't. And they were like, "We can't even be in here for like 10 minutes. Like, this music is driving us insane." And it's like, it's music. It doesn't matter. But when it plays like over and over, and you work like every single day of the week, it really gets bad. But yeah, none of the workers liked the music, and we would always, I guess it was fun in that sense because we would always complain about the music and some of the people. But no, it was pretty fun in the end. I met a lot of cool people. I did get to go outside once and hold up a sign that said Halloween Express, and I got to wear a costume, and I like got to dance and stuff. I dressed up as Lady Captain America, so I did that, and then that was the one day that they let us wear costumes. It actually depended on the manager because the one girl was like, oh yeah, you can wear like the sunglasses we have and the hats and the masks, like, you know, have fun with it. But then the other lady was like, she lets you guys wear the hats? Like, she was just like appalled. And it's like, yeah, she does because she's cool. So we just wore like, we had orange shirts that said Halloween Express, and that was it. I remember this one time, in the cities they have the zombie pub crawl, so there was this guy doing makeup at like a little booth that we had inside the store. And so we have like those tattoo transfer things that are like scars, and like they have, you guys have probably seen like the huge lips, like we had those, and apparently the company sent us some to kind of test and like show off to people. So I remember we all got to put some of those on, so I had like a big bullet hole in the top of my forehead and like one on my cheek, and so that was fun. But other than that, we never really got to like dress up in makeup or like costumes, but the few times that we did, it was really fun. At the end of it, they said if you worked Halloween day, you could come in like anytime you wanted and just work until like it got slow, and then the people who were there like first would get to go home first. So it was pretty much like first come first serve. But if you worked Halloween night, you got $50 worth of merchandise, so that's pretty much like maybe a costume, one costume, or like you only have to pay $10 for your costume, because most of the costumes are like 50 or 60 bucks, honestly. Like, they are expensive. And or you could do like makeup. You could get like $50 worth of like liquid latex or body paint, but you can't put anything on hold. The employees couldn't, or at least we couldn't at my store, because this girl tried to put on a costume on hold like a week or two before Halloween, and she got in trouble. She got yelled at. You can put things on hold when you are like a customer and everything. That was good, and it wasn't good because, yeah, you got, $50 worth of makeup, and then, you know, Halloween night's usually slow, so you get to go home and enjoy your Halloween, but you get like a free costume, but most of everything is picked over, so they probably won't have the costume you want by that time, or they won't have it in your size. But yeah, I don't know, we all had like, we always made fun of it. Like, the workers that I worked with didn't really like Halloween Express. We would always like bash it because the costumes that we had were actually really flimsy, and a lot of the things broke and they didn't look nice. So we would always be like, just go to Spirit, you know, whatever. I would wear like my, for the children, Spirit bracelets, and my manager would get mad at me, and I was like, it's for a good cause, it's from last year. We had a lot of people that would quit because they didn't like the one manager. Actually, like, most of everyone quit. Yeah, so just be aware that if you work at a Halloween store or a seasonal store or anything, like, you might not have employees, because we had people that would work for a day and they'd be like, this isn't for me, or they'd be like, you know, I can't do this anymore, I don't want to do this, I want to have a Halloween to myself. Like, I want to actually enjoy my Halloween, I don't want to be here. So yeah, people aren't going to give a 2 weeks notice for a seasonal job, because pretty much if you give a 2 weeks notice, like, why even bother, because you're pretty much going to be done working in that time anyways. So yeah. I probably wouldn't work in a Halloween store again. I mean, it was a good experience. I'm glad I did it, because I would always wonder, like, you know, is it fun working in a Halloween store? I honestly say no. Well, yes and no. It was probably the funnest job I had when I worked at when I worked in the cities while going to college. It just got to be a little too much, because with everybody quitting and I was like the only register person for like an 8-hour shift, and it got to be a lot of people, and then just all that kind of stuff. But it was like the funnest job, probably, if I'm being totally honest, because, you know, you could talk to people, like, they all love Halloween, obviously, like, why else would you work there? So you can talk to people about that. I talked to people about like makeup and doing animatronics and stuff and doing haunted housework, and so that was really cool. A lot of the customers were really cool. They had like quirky things going on with them that you could talk about, and you know, even the bad things, like we would complain about the music to each other, we would complain about other people to each other, which isn't always the best thing to do in a workplace, but if you can like rant to someone, it'll make it better. So yeah, there's my little rambles of working in a Halloween store. I hope you guys like it, and yeah. Question for the comments, what are you guys going to be for Halloween? Do you dress up? What are you going to be? Let me know. Bye.